What's up, guys? Here with the new versus battle. The battle today is going to be Guts versus Artorias. Guts from Berserk and Artorias from Dark Souls. I thought this battle would be really interesting because Artorias is actually rumored to be a video game Guts counterpart, although they're totally different. Apparently their looks and their fighting styles are very similar, and we're going to find out who's going to be the victor today. So the versions we're going to be using is Guts current and Artorias post Manus fight. So the fight after he dies and he is corrupted by the Dark Soul. So I will start off with Guts and then we'll go on to Artorias. Artorias is going to be much longer than Guts. I'll warn you now. It's not because I'm biased. It's because Dark Souls is a very vague series. I don't know if you've ever played Dark Souls, but they definitely don't rub anything in your face. You definitely have to research and learn everything about the story, even including the story itself. Like, they just, honestly, if you just play the game without any research, you just play the story. You don't actually know anything. So you have to do a lot of research to even know what the story is of Dark Souls. So Dark Souls is going to take a lot longer. It's not because I'm biased or anything, so bear with me on that. Alright, let's start out with Guts. Alright, getting started with Guts, to let you know, the calcs are all done by someone else, not me. It's much like my Superman versus Frieza video, except I'll be doing the calcs for Artorias because I'm probably one of the best Dark Souls debaters out there. I love everything about it, and I love Berserk as well. It's just I only recently started reading it. I finished the anime and I'm caught up. I'm not really caught up in the manga, but I'm to the part where the anime ends in the manga, and it took hours to get to that point because the manga is really long. So I've been reading it for like hours on end for these past couple of days trying to get the hang of it, but my friend Wade Strine, he's a lot more adept at this series than me, so he'll do the calcs. He's probably a lot less biased than I am towards series anyways, because so the speed he has for Guts in his base form is subsonic to likely supersonic plus. The reasoning is he was easily able to react to a character who can fly at Mach 1 while he was injured and falling through the air. Stamina-wise, this is going to be me because he didn't actually put that. Stamina-wise in his base form, he can take on 100 people at once for like an entire night. So it's like he can fight for at least 8 hours straight. Possible, honestly, maybe 12 hours. We don't know how long they're fighting. All we know is that he was fighting 100 people from night until like early morning. So that's a shit ton of stamina and a very good durability and durability feat as well. So he has a lot of vitality, as gods like to tell him. He can get slammed around by a god, like death gods, and they always compliment his vitality. One of them even tried to recruit him one time, but that was rejected because he's not some character of fate or something. In his Berserker armor, he's high hypersonic plus, which is very impressive. He dodged lightning semi-casually. He put a calc for him being at Mach 22 through 33. For attack potency in his base form, he's like wall plus to small building plus. I would actually argue maybe even higher, because he was able to hurt some demons that can like fodderize multiple buildings at once. I think he even like I think he actually killed a demon that had like multi-building level durability. I think it was like some monkey demon. It was like one of Zod's acquaintances. Cut a tornado or some shit. That's literally what he put. So for his Berserker armor, casually city block. That seems about right. Honestly, it'd probably be higher, considering that the calc I just gave you guys where he killed Zod's acquaintance, who should be multi-building level. Yeah, and he should be much higher with Zod's help. He was able to heavy blow to Ganeshka. I think I'm saying that right. I haven't read the series. Ganeshka. Ganeshka was the size of a city, and is calculated anywhere from small city to mid-island for his overall output. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. His opponents are very powerful, so if he's able to take on these opponents, he should be at least relativistic. So he's small city level at like the highest of highballs. So he should be at least like multi-building plus or like multi-city block plus. As for Guts stamina, I'm not really too sure, but I mean, with his Berserk armor, but I'm pretty sure it's still relatively the same as when he's when he's in his base form, except his vitality is off the charts. Like his berserker armor will not let him stop moving or will not let him die. So I guess in a sense that he would have like almost limitless stamina because his berserker armor wouldn't let him stop. So he would have to die to stop. So I don't know if he would die from stamina loss or anything, but from what I can tell, the berserker armor just will not let him stop. So he pretty much has like limitless stamina. Vitality wise, he has a lot of vitality because the berserker armor once again won't really let him die either. It basically like possesses his body. So all right, that's all for Guts. Now let's get started with Artorias the Abysswalker.
Please stop shaking me. It doesn't seem to be helping the pain.
So we are using Hollow Artorias. So that means Artorias is feral. He has no sense of reasoning, or he won't even talk to Guts at all during their fight. He will literally not say anything. He will just try to kill him because Hollows are all feral, driven to consume the souls of their opponent. So the first thing about Artorias you should know is that his stamina is true infinite. He will never stop. He is hollow, mindless. He has no conscience. He can literally be like weak enough to where if you throw a pebble at him and he dies, and he will still fight exactly the same. He has infinite stamina. He's powered by Manus and the Dark Soul and his own soul, which is almost as powerful as the Dark Soul itself. So he's really crazy of a fighter. His vitality and stamina are way beyond Guts. Well, I don't know about vitality, but stamina-wise, he's infinitely above Guts. In terms of durability, we know that he fought Manus, who has enough power to rip holes in space-time, but just by throwing his hand and throwing a hissy fit, because Manus is like really emotional. So whenever a Manus gets emotional, he pours out the Dark Soul and consumes everything around him. And he can also apparently the reason you even fight him in the game is because Manus actually tears the main character through a different point in time and throws him into the past, and that's how you fight Artorias. So he's able to fight someone like that. We know that he survived the encounter. He probably actually got away. He had his arm broken, but because he survived, he was overcome with the Abyss in the Dark Soul. So he was possessed. In terms of combat, he is unmatched in the Dark Souls universe with the Greatsword. He's absolutely insane. I will actually probably have a video of me fighting him so you can get an idea. And his skill is just completely insane. I'd say his skill is honestly on a different level than Guts. Guts is very skilled with the Greatsword, but compared to Artorias is completely berserk compared to Guts. I know it's ironic, but if you watch Artorias' movements, even with in the game, he's fighting with his bad hand, because he's actually left-handed, and his left arm was broken by Manus. So even with his bad arm, he's showing skills beyond anything else in the entire Dark Souls universe. So his skills and stamina and vitality are insane. In terms of durability, though, like I was saying, I got caught away with that. It should be actually relativistic to Guts, because at the very end of the game, the Chosen Undead lights a pocket dimension on fire, the killing of the First Flame, with his soul. And we know that Manus and Artorias aren't too far from the Chosen Undead and the Hollow Gwyn of Sunlight. So, in theory, they should be around city level, because the pocket dimension is like basically a city-sized kiln. So, I mean, he would probably be like multi-city block level to like small city level, just like Guts is with his Berserker armor. In terms of durability, it'd probably be it's not really the same. We know that he can take damage from things much weaker than him, but it's just his vitality is off the charts. So, like, small weapons, even if they can hurt him, like, it would take forever to kill him with one. And that we also know that he can take magical and divine weapons made from gods. So I'm saying the Dragon Slayer should be able to hurt him, but it should be a good fight. I almost forgot speed. So the speed of Artorias is hypersonic as well, because there are many beings in the Dark Souls universe that hurl lightning at you, and we know that the Chosen Undead, when he was in Anor Londo, and he was fighting Smo and Ornstein, he could dodge electrical currents and lightning blasts at close proximity. So we know even the Chosen Undead, even during those earlier, it was more like mid Dark Souls, could dodge hypersonic attacks. And we also know that there's a few light attacks in this series, although I wouldn't dare say that they're light speed. But I'm saying that some might be hitting relativistic. I won't say that Hollow Artorias is relativistic, because the way he fights is very the way he fights is more like Ornstein and Smo level speed. He's just very powerful in vitality and strength. So he should be hypersonic levels. The Chosen Undead might be more relativistic because he was dodging all his attacks, because that's how you're supposed to fight him. You're supposed to learn his strategy and dodge everything he does and then attack him. So Artorias is high hypersonic and relativistic with a lot of wank. So it should be around the same as Guts with his Berserker armor, if not faster. Like in most of my videos, I try to show different examples of how each character can win or lose. So in a standard fight, Guts will drag out the fight, because that's how he kind of is. He'll probably start out in his base form. I don't know if he would start out in his Berserker armor, but I really doubt it. And the thing is with Artorias is also another thing about Guts is that he might not use the Berserker armor, because he can hurt him without the Berserker armor, so he might get carried away with it, because that's what Guts does. He gets carried away. The thing with Artorias is the longer the fight drags out, the stronger he gets, and when he give Artorias time, the thing is that he can actually power up. Like he undergoes like a sort of like a transformation where the Dark Soul, he uses the power of the Dark Soul that has corrupted his own soul, and he magnifies his power significantly, and he can stack this onto each other about 4 times. I want to say that this increases his power by at least 25%. Some people even say that it doubles his power each time. So if he's stacking that onto himself like 4 times, it can mean trouble. It can honestly mean he can become 16 times stronger, or it can mean that he can become like twice as strong. Either way, him stacking the Dark Soul onto himself is bad news for Guts, and if Guts is toying around, he will get one-shotted. He will get killed. So in a normal confrontation, Guts will honestly be very arrogant towards Artorias, because he can damage him. And honestly, if Artorias doesn't just speed blitz him, because he's hypersonic, feral, and he won't give Guts a chance at all, Artorias will just honestly probably just blitz him and kill him, because he's feral as fuck. He might honestly just foderize him, like he does the Hollow when you first meet him. And then if the fight drags on, he's just going to get stronger and stronger, and then he will honestly just one-shot him even harder. So either way, Guts is not winning in a normal way. But to say that to give Guts a chance, we'll say that he starts with his Berserker armor, and that we'll say that he's kind of enraged. So if Guts is enraged and he's very aggressive, he can defeat Artorias, because Artorias, while he's very skilled, he's also very repetitive. So Artorias, since he's Hollow, he doesn't come up with new strategies or anything. He will just keep using the same moves that he knew in life. So Guts might be able to come onto his attack pattern, especially with Guts' vitality, and he'll be able to tank a bunch of hits. And he'll be able to go blow for blow. Eventually, he'll catch on to Artorias' technique, and he will defeat him just like the Chosen Undead did. The only way Artorias can defeat an enraged Guts is if he uses the Dark Soul. But the thing about him when he uses the Dark Soul is that it actually takes time. So even if he was able to stack one Dark Soul on, it only lasts for about 60 seconds, unless he stacks it again. So if Guts can survive 60 seconds after he does a buff, then he will know that whenever he's about to do a buff, that to attack him, and when you attack Artorias when he's doing a buff, he will get staggered, and you will be able to kill him. And so eventually Guts, with his Berserker armor, will eventually kill Artorias and slay him, and obtain his own Artorias soul, which will make him stronger. That's not canon, but that would be really interesting to see Guts with the power of Artorias' soul. So in a normal confrontation, Artorias would foderize Guts, and if Guts was bloodlusted with his Berserker armor, he would probably win because his vitality would give him enough strength to endure Artorias' hits. And then in a normal confrontation, say Guts started with his Berserker armor, he wasn't bloodlusted, it'd honestly probably go the same. And if he got unlucky, Artorias would probably stack the Dark Soul and maybe one-shot him. But that's only if he's really unlucky. So I'm going to say that this battle is going to go to Artorias, but in the end, it's honestly more so a tie because they can win. Both of them can kill each other if the situation is right. So, yeah, it's more so a tie, but we know in a normal fight he would foderize him, and in an enraged confrontation, Guts would win. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed and learned a little bit about Dark Souls and Berserk, and until next time.